Hello and welcome. This is Business Incorporated live from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. On the show today, most markets in Africa and Europe remain closed for the Easter holiday. Senegal to issue Eurobond this month to finance series of infrastructure and power production projects. Plus, Sudan's inflation hits 34.58% in March. Let's get started. Major markets in Africa are closed today for the Easter holiday. However, on Thursday, which was the last trading day before the Easter holiday, markets closed mixed. South Africa's stocks were a bit softer as investors booked some profits before the long Easter weekend. The market in Egypt was also down 0.13%. Here in Nigeria, the NSE All-Share Index ended Thursday's session up by 0.05%, its second positive performance before the Easter break. The Nairobi Stock Exchange also closed higher by 0.39% on Thursday. In the Middle East, markets are open for business. Two Saudi Arabian banks outperformed in midday trading after reporting their first quarter earnings, while shares in Abu Dhabi real estate firm Ashrak were boosted by a plan to tie up with state fund Mabudala. Shares in the second largest Saudi lender by assets, Al Rajhi, rose 0.8% after it reported a net profit of 2.2 billion reals, up 10.1% from the prior year period, and in line with analysts' average forecast of 2.16 billion reals. The Saudi index was down 0.08% at intraday. In Abu Dhabi, Ashrak Properties, whose shares came under pressure last week on news that the Emirates' property prices were softening, climbed 2.7%. after Abu Dhabi government fund Mabudala said it was considering forming a venture with a loss-making real estate developer. Alder Properties, which had also been trading lower in recent days, rebounded 0.5%, helping carry Abu Dhabi index 0.96% higher. In Dubai, loss-making builder Arab Tech rose 2.5% after it hired a new chief financial officer, Peter Pollard, who will oversee its recapitalization program. At a shareholders meeting on Tuesday, Arab Tech will see investor approval for a 1.5 billion dirham rights issue. The index was trading up 0.14% at intraday. Qatar was down 0.58%. In Europe, markets are closed for Easter Monday holiday. However, on Thursday, markets closed lower as investors digested U.S. President Donald Trump's comments that he would prefer the Federal Reserve to keep interest rates low and suggested the dollar is too strong. The FTSE 100 ended Thursday down 0.29% at 7,327. The French CAC 40 ended down 0.59%, and the German DAX closed 0.38% lower at 12,154 points. The Pan-European Stoxx 600 was down 0.35%, with the majority of sectors and all major bourses in negative territory. In the U.S., the Wall Street is expected to open lower today after U.S. Vice President Mike Pence said the era of strategic patience with North Korea was over. Pence made the comments on the border between North and South Korea a day after North Korea's failed missile test. The Trump administration is working with China and its allies on a response to North Korea's missile program. Wall Street was closed on Easter Friday, but the government released economic data which showed retail sales fell for the second straight month and consumer prices dropped for the first time in June over a year. On the data front, on Monday, the Empire State Survey is released at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and the NAHB survey is out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Among the companies releasing their earnings, the M&T Bank is scheduled to release its report card before the opening bell. After the close of markets, Netflix and United Continental are due to release their results. And in Asia, equities ended mixed in Monday trade with the dollar sinking against the yen following tensions in the Korean peninsula and better than expected Chinese economic data. Japan's Nikkei 225 reversed earlier losses to rise 0.11% to close at 18,355.26, while the Kospi climbed 0.51% to finish at 2,145.76. Hong Kong, Australia and New Zealand markets are closed for Easter Monday. Mainland Chinese markets were mostly lower, even though economic data released earlier in the day was slightly better than expected. The Shanghai Composite declined by 0.75%, while the Shenzhen Composite fell 1.414%. And crude oil fell in quiet trading on Monday after the three-day Easter break on signs the United States is continuing to add output undermining OPEC efforts to support prices, and as the market digested North Korea's failed missile launch on Sunday. Benchmark Brent crude futures were down 49 cents at $55.40 on Thursday. Before the break closed, most major markets, they settled up 3 cents at $55.89 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were also down 47 cents at $52.71 a barrel. They rose 7 cents to $53.18 on Thursday. And precious metal, now gold hit a 5-month high on Monday as the dollar weakened, with investors taking refuge in safe haven assets in the wake of rising geopolitical tensions over North Korea. Spot gold was up 0.5% at $1,291 per ounce after hitting its highest since early November at $1,295. Last week, the metal rose 2.5% in its biggest weekly gain since June last year. U.S. gold futures were up 0.4% at $1,293. And Senegal will issue a Eurobond this month in order to finance a series of infrastructure and power production projects that it hopes will push economic growth above 7% from next year. However, the finance minister, Amadou Ba, did not give the amount of the issuance or its maturity. The West African nation is rated B1 by Moody's and B+ by Standard & Poor's. Senegal, a member of the 8-nation CFA currency bloc, which maintains a fixed rate against the euro, issued its first $200 million 5-year bond in December 2009 at a yield of 9.25%. It followed that with $500 million 10-year issue in 2011, bearing a coupon of 8.75%.